Geography shapes people, if they're regular visitors, as much as people shape the geography, except, of course, with caterpillar tractors and things like that.
Right.
So people were woodland folk. It was so nice to meet people who'd come from the west to the east and settled, or had lived out in the west like I had. And that included, of course, Tony Barnes, guide in here, other people who lived further north. And there was something about West Virginia that made it really, well, an idyllic place if it suited you. We would see people in the hills living there, in the hollers. By the time I returned, almost everybody had left the hollers. And a lot of the offspring that were born in the hollers but moved to the city with their folks, or the towns, said, all our family's troubles started when we left the holler. Mr. Seitz drove a 1950s car to the riverbank. He got out of the car with a sack on his back with provisions for his stock up at his farm, crossed a footbridge built locally, which was a suspension bridge which sometimes fell down. When he got across the bridge, he got in a 1940s Ford truck and he drove up the hill to his farm, fed his stock and came back. Rarely said a word, rarely smiled, rarely went through it. I was walking up that road with my gang one day and I heard the Ford coming and I thought, we're in for trouble now. Here comes Mr. Seitz. He pulled up adjacent to our group, looked at me and said, get in. I got in beside him and the group jumped in the back of the Ford. I said, we were going to go up Norfolk Mountain. He said, I know where you were going. Opened the gate and drove us as far as he could in the truck and let us get out. Other climbers have been to Seneca from England, good climbers. One of them, my friend, Tony Preston from Bolton. He and his partner did the first British ascent of Foops at the Schwangunks. That was the first port of call. Second port of call, Seneca Rocks. They were climbing at Seneca till Tony spilled coffee down his boot, burnt his foot. So he spent a lot of time at Buck Harper's store. In Buck Harper's store was the Mr. Seitz sitting by the fire who gave us the ride with the kids. After several visits, Mr. Seitz said to Tony, well, boy, where are you from then? Tony said, Mr. Seitz, I'm from England. Mr. Seitz said, England, you mean upstate? Tony said, no, not New England. I'm from the United Kingdom. Mr. Seitz said, boy, is that some kind of religious group? That's why people come to West Virginia and stay.